Hi, welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you, or welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be telling you all you need to know about adding subscription to your Flutterflow application. If you are a solopreneur who just want to launch an idea with Flutterflow, you'll definitely understand that collecting payment can be a hassle. Collecting payment collecting payment on various platforms can be a hassle, and setting it up can be a pain. So today I'm going to be running you through how you can set up subscription for your application. It's not going to be a technical tutorial, but it's just going to be me telling you all the things you have to do in order for you to add subscription to your application. My name is Paul. I help and teach entrepreneurs how to build very profitable applications, irrespective of their skill set or industry. If that's something that you want to do, feel free to click on the link below. I have a monthly bootcamp that if you join at the end of the bootcamp, you'll be able to launch your own idea without breaking the bank. You'll be able to build it yourself, do it yourself the right way. So let's get started. In fact, as we get started, there are other useful links in the description that you can take advantage of. So if you look at the app right now on the screen, you will see that it has 1 year subscription, 1 month subscription, 1 week subscription. I'm pretty sure you might be wondering, how do I get here? So if you come back here to settings, and if you come back to settings and you see in-app purchases and subscription, you would see that Flutterflow has a couple of subscription that you can use. There is Stripe, there is Braintree, there is RevenueCat, and there is RevenueCat. So normally I use RevenueCat for my subscription. I really don't use Braintree or RevenueCat. So Stripe, mainly you can use Stripe if you have an e-commerce store and you just want to be able to sell stuff in the application. So you can use Stripe. It's not subscription, you just want only do one-time payment. Or you can use Stripe if you're paying outside the application. But I mostly use RevenueCat because subscription is a thing for me. That's how I make money from the application that I build. So first thing, you would have to come here and enable RevenueCat, and then you come back here and go to RevenueCat and create an application, create a new project. And once you create a new project, you'd have to go ahead and add the apps, right? The various app stores. So here you see iOS store, there is Google Play Store, there is Roku, and there is Amazon Store. You'd have to configure the store the way you like it. But today, we're just going to focus on Google Play Store because the configuration is very, very similar. If you click into it, you would see it's going to ask you to put in your Google Play package, your service account. Those are the things that's going to ask you to put in. So I'm going to say it's going to ask you to put in your app name, your Google Play package, and it's going to ask you to include your service account. Your service account is the most important credential when you are trying to integrate with RevenueCat. The major reason why you integrate with RevenueCat is because RevenueCat makes it very, very easy for you to collect payment. One other way that some persons do it is that they use paywall. RevenueCat also has a paywall. You're still going to be charged. You use a paywall, but the regular 15% from Apple, it's not going to you will not be charged, right? You will not be charged for that regular 15% that Apple would normally take or that Google Play Store would normally take. So what's going to happen is that when you just click on your application, you redirect them to a standard paywall, and then they make payment there, then you redirect them back to your application. But everything will have to be synced up, right? So that's the way that works. And once you fix your service account, you can always get your service account from your Firebase console. It's very straightforward. Once you fix your service account, it will give you a public key that you have to take to Flutterflow. So this is how the public key looks like. And then you come back here, copy it, and then you come back here, come back to Flutterflow, and you dump the service account here. So meanwhile, before you dump the service account, you ought to have uploaded a file. You ought to have uploaded a file, an app file right here before you dump the service account. It's very, very important. Why? So that Google Play Console will recognize your application. So once you're done with that, the next thing that you have to do is to come here to monetize Play, click on products, and click on subscriptions. Click on subscriptions. This is where you create a subscription. If you want to charge your users a certain price, this is where you create it. When you click on create subscription, you have to give it a product ID and a name. So this product ID, you can only use it once for this particular subscription, right? And then you will, this is how the subscription is. So you have to add a name to it. You can add benefits to it if you want to use it. You can display these benefits, right? If you want to, you add a description. I didn't add a description to mine. And then you add, taxes. You add how many countries how many countries. Sometimes you can allow your app to be free in some certain countries and paid in some certain countries. If I click on the countries, you will see how many countries you want to restrict payment and how many countries you don't want to give them the ability to pay, right? So once you're done with that, the next thing you have to do is to add some base plans. So a subscription can have a couple of base plans, right? One subscription can have many base plans if you want them to. So if you click on add base plans, it's going to say, what's the base plan ID? Of course, the base plan ID must be very unique. And then it's going to ask you if it's going to be auto renewing. Yeah, this is the reason why it's a subscription. And this is where the cream is. You would have to pick the billing period, if it's going to be every 4 weeks or if it's going to be every 2 months. So I think the major standard in the industry is weekly, monthly, bi-yearly, and yearly, mostly, or you give them a lifetime deal, right? And then a grace period, how many days? Monthly, for the month, grace period is always 7 days. So this is when a person will still be in the application, even if they've not made payment or their payment haven't gone through, right? But you just keep on telling them, hey, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut you off very, very, very soon. Account hold period. There's an issue with their payment renewal, right? There's an issue with their payment renewal. They will keep on using your account until the number of days you specified here. So it's just that maybe there's an issue, their payment didn't go through. They will have to hold the account for 30 days. And then when do you want them to charge? It definitely has to be the next billing date, right? That's how you want to charge them. And here you also want to give users the ability to resubscribe. In RevenueCat, it's called restore account. That's what it's called. It's called restore account. And then once you're done with that, you would come back here, you will set a price, right? You set a price, but first you have to choose all the country, set a price, and how much is it going to be? Here, if you say it's going to be 5,000 naira, right? What the Play Store will do is that it will convert everything to 5,000 naira. For example, in Austria, 5,000 naira is 3.39 pounds. In Brazil, it is 17. In British Virgin Island, it's 3.49 USD. So it will convert everything to all the other currencies in the world. So you don't have to worry about that. But the good news is that you can actually edit the way you want it to be. So you can give this priority pricing for some countries. For example, a country like India, a country like Nigeria will always get priority pricing. While you can raise your prices in countries like Britain and America because of their purchasing power, you can always reduce your pricing in other countries, and you can edit this pricing one after another, right? Even though sometimes you don't have to do that, because in RevenueCat, you can target people based on where they are from and give them coupon codes. You can show different paywall depending on where they are from, right? So once you create this, once you're able to create those subscription, that's the only thing you have to do. And you have to ensure that backward compatibility is turned on. This is the major reason why I create one plan inside every subscription I create. I just add one base plan. When I create more than one base plan, this backward compatibility feature is not turned on, right? And there's something else that is called offer. If you click on add offer, it's going to ask you where you want to add the offer on. But let me click on this one I've created before. Meanwhile, like I said, I'm working on a comprehensive tutorial that will cover payment for no-code applications. And so, if you subscribe to my channel, you should get it when it's launched, right? So here it says add offer, and it's going to be new customer acquisition. So if a person never had a subscription in your application, then they are going to be eligible for this offer. And the offer that I'm giving a person who has not registered before is a 14-day free trial. You can also add a phase here, right? If you select this type of phase, it will be discounted recurring payment, right? So you can ask them to bill twice, right? It can be like recurring payment like twice. So you bill them twice and it's going to be discounted. And you're going to ask them how much, if it's a percentage fee. It can be 50%. So this type of stuff, you normally use it for maybe like Black Friday and all that stuff. You can show a paywall like this where people will have once they want to get into the offer, you give them maybe like 50% off, 40% off. But you can also use promo code, right, for some seasons. For example, Christmas, you can give people a promo code like Christ is good. When they use it in the application, they will get maybe a 20% off, 30% off, depending on how you want to use it. So once you're done with all of this, if you come back to RevenueCat and click on product, right, on RevenueCat, you should be, if you click on product here, you should be able to click import product, right? If you click on import product, it should see all the products that you have in Apple Play Store, right? All of this is going to say active or inactive, right? That's what it's going to show, if it's active or if it's inactive. So all of this, their products I created before, but I'm not using them anymore. That's why it's showing. But these ones that we have here, going back again, these ones that we have here, they are published products. So it means that they are currently in production. I can collect money with the product if I want to, once I launch the application. But meanwhile, a couple of things you have to know. So while you have products, right, there is also something called entitlement, right? There's also something called offering, right? Product, entitlement, and offering. These are things that you have to think about. So an entitlement contain a lot of products, right? This is an entitlement, and the name of this entitlement is Pro. So it contains 1, 2, 3 products, right? And then it means that whenever a person jumps into this Pro entitlement, they will have access to all 3 products. You can say they have access to 1 product or 2 products or 3 products if you want to, but every person must belong to an entitlement, right? So what happens is that if you check in your Flutterflow application what entitlement this person belongs to, they have to be part of one entitlement, right? So if you come back here, offering, if you click here, right? If you click the offering, you will see that this particular offering, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 offering, you would see that they belong to this particular offer, this particular identifier, right? They belong to this particular identifier. So what this does is that it groups all the products that you have and dump it in one offering. You can remove any of this, right? You can remove any of this, even though the person belongs to the Pro entitlement. And you can also target this. So you can say you can also target this, but this is for a different plan entirely. And you can create a paywall for this particular offering. You can show different offering to different people, right? The same entitlement, but different offering to different people. So how do you add that to your Flutterflow application? You come to your Flutterflow application and you make sure that you have the keys in there, and you come here, come to your Flutterflow application. This is where I'm adding the payment, right? This is where I'm adding the payment right now. You can see yearly, monthly, and weekly, right? So what I do is that it's yearly. But what I do, this is the way I do it, so that I can have control over the test that I put in my, so that I can have control over the test. This is what I do. I will first of all create a selected plan variable. So this selected plan is going to be a string. So what it's going to do is that it's going to fetch the ID, right? It's going to fetch the ID of a particular plan. That's what I'm going to do. And then this is where I have my plans right here. And this is where I have the money. So the price here that you're seeing is not coming from Google Store Console, neither is it coming from RevenueCat. I just had coded it right here, right? So what I do is that I do that if a user click on this particular container, what happens is that it sets the package identifier. So this is how I get the package identifier. So I'm gonna remove it. Right. If I click here, I'm gonna say RevenueCat. So this is RevenueCat. I'm gonna say current offering. Right. I'm gonna say current offering, annual package. Then I'm gonna say package identifier. Right. That's it. But if I come here, this is 1 year, right? And I want to change this to the test from the Google Play Store. So what I'll do is that I come here, I say RevenueCat, I say current offering, and I would say annual package, and I would say title, right? And I'll confirm it. So once I confirm it, this is not going to be very, very dynamic. It's going to be coming from the Play Store. So the good news is that you can either decide to make it dynamic or you can decide to hard code it yourself. But the most important thing that RevenueCat care about is the package identifier. So if I click on this subscribe now, what's going to happen is that I'm going to put in the workflow like this. When the user click on subscribe, I'm going to say purchase. So it's going to be, so this is the way I'm going to do this right here again. So I'm going to say add action. I'm going to say RevenueCat. So RevenueCat, I'm going to put the purchase action, right? And the purchase ID is going to come from the page stakes that I created before. Every time the user click on the container, I will update the package ID. So I'm going to say conditional, that's if the purchase is true. So this conditional, okay, I'll delete this. It's going to be conditional. It's going to be if the package. I'm going to add a conditional that asks if the purchase is true, right? Action output, if the purchase success. If it's true, then I'm going to take them to what they're asking for. If it's false, I'm going to take them to something else and tell them, hey, the purchase was unsuccessful, right? That's what you see here. If it's true, I'm going to tell them it's successful. If it's false, I'm going to tell them the package is not successful, right? That's majorly how it works. And another thing there is that you can always show a paywall. So let's come back here to home. So if you look at this home, you can actually set some standards, and you can say, if this thing is happening, I want you to do this. If this is not happening, I need you to do that. Let's come to the homepage copy. It is. What I can do here is when the user lands on this homepage copy, I can click here and I can check if they are subscribed, right? I can check if they have a subscription. How I'll check it is you click on RevenueCat and decide if they purchase, right? And put your entitlement ID. My entitlement ID, like you saw in the video, was Pro. And I'm going to check if this current user has an entitlement. If they have an entitlement, then let them stay there. But if they don't have an entitlement, I can decide to show a paywall. I can decide to show anything else that I want to show, right? That's the mainly way that you implement payment with Flutterflow. I know it wasn't so deep, but we just covered it back to back and see. We just covered it so we'll be able to show you that this is how you collect payment in Flutterflow. And then when you're done and you included payment, you should see these numbers immediately. Once it works, you should be able to see all these numbers immediately, and you should be able to say how many customers you have, people who are registering for your application. You should be able to see all of this in your application, especially if the application is in the App Store and you really started to test with real numbers, right? So thank you very much for watching. I just wanted to do this and let you know how you can implement payment in your application. Don't worry, soon I'm going to launch a tutorial, and it's going to be very, very technical, and I'll show you how to do this video with an application that I'm going to start working on in a few days. Thank you very much for watching. If you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. And also, if you are a solopreneur and you're looking forward to launching your idea into the market, feel free to click on the link below. During the cohort, I teach 10 founders every month how to launch their application from idea all the way to production into the market within 1 month. Right? If that's for you, feel free to click there. If you need somebody to get you on stock, feel free to click on the link below also. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in a different tutorial entirely.